Good evening and welcome to our Live at 5 Wednesday edition, which features the official athlete of the week here in studio. And as always, plenty of news and events. I'm Sierra McQueen.
And I'm Haley Gordon. The Freedom Baptist Praise Band will be performing at the Richmond County Fair in Hamlet Thursday evening starting at 6 p.m. So make sure to go out and support them. And now for tonight's top stories.
Entering its third week, the Local Business Spotlight column in the Richmond Observer continues to showcase local businesses in the Richmond County each week. The question and answer format presented by the Richmond Observer and contributor Cleve Baxley aims to highlight what local businesses are doing in the community. With the Richmond Observer being a large supporter of small businesses, it encourages you to nominate a local business to be featured in this weekly column. This week's Spotlight is on Headline Studio.
Christie's Home, Garden and Gifts held its official ribbon cutting ceremony Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. at its location beside Belk and Richmond Plaza. With the holidays just around the corner, Christie Pageant has already begun arranging holiday gift baskets for customers. For a small fee, customers may personally choose items as gifts and have Pageant arrange them in a basket just right for gift giving. By providing unique gifts to Richmond County, Pageant hopes to prevent citizens from having to travel out of town for their gift-giving needs. Business hours for Christie's are as follows: Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and closed Sunday and Monday.
The Rockingham City Council held its October meeting Tuesday at the City Hall. A consideration was brought for issuance of Certificate of Convenience and Necessity for Shannon Adams to operate a taxi service in Rockingham, and consideration was passed unanimously by the board. Public hearings were held on topics of a rezoning request and a resolution to abandon a portion of an alley.
The monthly meeting for Hamlet City Council was held in the chamber of the Administration Building on Tuesday evening as well. All members were present and the agenda was full with 11 distinct items of business, as well as the usual administrative procedures and miscellaneous reports from staff and pertinent comments from the councilors. To review all of the topics discussed in both town meetings, read our articles on richmondobserver.com.
Hillside Florist held its first ever fall and Christmas open house Tuesday from 6 until 8 p.m. at its Uptown Rockingham location of 216 East Franklin Street. Chuck Wright, owner of Hillside, stated that the florist has always been too busy for an open house, but was glad to have found time for Tuesday's event. Wright believes that participating in activities promoting the Uptown area and its businesses is important. He wants to see Hillside Florist become involved as well. Several items were raffled off, including flowers, plants, large arrangements, potted plants, and tree topper bows.
One guest in attendance said, quote, "When I direct weddings, I know I don't ever have to worry about the flowers. They are always there in plenty of time, and there are always a lot of flowers," end quote. Hillside Florist is a well-established business in which many people in Richmond County have placed their trust for the important times in their lives. Hours of operation for Hillside Florist are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Since 1958, the Richmond County Agricultural Fair has been staged in Hamlet at the area informally referred to as the Fairgrounds at the corner of Hamlet Avenue and Lewis Breeden Drive. The Hamlet Lions Club is the fair's promoter, and Lions Club President Bill Bayless encourages everyone to come out, have fun, and contribute to multiple worthy causes in the process. Lions Club Treasurer Jerry Thomas says the proceeds from the fair are turned to the community in so many ways.
The funds go towards scholarships at Richmond Senior High School, school supplies, and also services for visually impaired individuals. Gates for the fair open at 4 p.m. Wednesday through Friday and 2 p.m. on Saturday with an admission fee of only $5. Rides will commence an hour after opening, with tickets available individually or for a discounted bulk price.
As the Richmond County Agricultural Fair got underway Tuesday night, one of the first major events was a Lego competition. The Lego Build-Off was sponsored by the Hive in Rockingham, and it provided local students and teenagers the opportunity to construct unique, one-of-a-kind masterpieces. The goal was to wow a panel of 3 judges with their individual creations. Taking the top 3 spots in the competition were Austin Hattinger, Hayden Hattinger, and Reese Gentry. The Richmond County Agricultural Fair runs through Saturday with admission of $5 per person.
With hospice, you guys just outdo yourselves every day. And I really appreciate it. I honest to God don't know what I would do if it weren't for you. The things that you do, I'm in approval of. And thank you. I don't know what else to say other than thank you.
Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts is a specialty retail store in downtown Rockingham, in the heart of Richmond County. We are all about rustic, farm-style home decor and gifts. We offer a variety of antique, vintage, and new items. We love helping you make your house a home with unique, one-of-a-kind finds. We also have specialty gifts for all occasions.
And welcome back into tonight's edition of Live at 5. I'm Kyle Pillar. It's now time for the official Richmond County Athlete of the Week segment, and the RO wants to remind you that we offer exclusive live interviews in studio. And remember, this feature launches on Wednesday mornings, and you can visit our website at www.richmondobserver.com or use our mobile app to find out who our official athletes are. And of course, just a reminder too that they'll always be featured on the Wednesday edition of Live at 5. Tonight we've got a double dose of cross-country athletes in the building, and as always, up first is our female nominee. She's just a sophomore who has proven not to be only the best runner, but also a leader on the Lady Raiders team. Our guest attends Richmond County Schools' early college at RCC and is certainly no stranger to being on camera. All season long, our nominee has proven meet after meet to be one of the best Sandhill Athletic Conference runners, and she averages a 22-minute pace throughout the 3.1-mile race, and she is certainly contending for this year's regional championship. And now I've got the pleasure to introduce to you Ariel Brown. Ariel, thanks so much for being in studio tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your cross-country season so far. We mentioned in our exclusive preview article that you're the #1 runner for the Lady Raiders. You guys had a pretty good you've had a pretty good season so far. You guys had a meet yesterday. So just kind of tell us about your season so far and talk about Pinecrest yesterday.
Well, so far we've had a pretty good season. I don't think we've come below second yet. Maybe, yeah, we haven't come below second place at a meet yet.
Good.
We're pretty much doing a great job. We're looking to try and win conference. We've working on new strategies. Plus, we've got an entire week to up until conference, which is going to be on next Saturday.
Right, the 21st.
Yes.
So at Pinecrest yesterday, you explained to me that their course is a little bit different because it's a kind of a course with rolling hills. So what kind of challenges does that course present? And you were lucky you had that as a so to speak practice round yesterday. But just talk about the challenges that course has and how you're preparing for the conference championship in 2 weeks.
Well, the course has a lot of uphills, but it's also got downhills. So even if you're struggling to get up the hill, you're going to have a push down it. But then you have to actually get up the hill. But the part that made it a little more difficult was the rain. Yesterday, we were experiencing a lot of rain, so every time you go downhill, you're stepping in a giant puddle. Now your socks are wet, and now you're slipping up a hill.
Yeah, and how does that humidity affect you at all? Does it make the breathing technique a little bit more difficult?
Well, the humidity just makes you sweat a lot more because when you sweat, it's your sweat going into evaporating into the air. But with humidity being so high, it's difficult for the sweat to get off of your body. So you're really just getting hotter by sweating. So the humidity is going to make it a lot more difficult to run.
Sure. Now, a lot of people at home might not know, but you guys run a 3.1-mile race, and you run it in what, about 22 minutes? So just kind of talk about the endurance or what it takes mentally, physically to not only run that 3.1 miles in a row, but to do it at such a quick pace.
Well, running the 3.1 miles, the first you got to get out, you got to start your race at a nice pace, because if you're running faster than the next person beside you, it's going to push them to want to move faster, and they're getting off their race pace. Because if your race paces start fast and their race paces start slow, they're going to start fast. Now they're tired for the rest of the race. So I figure you always start fast so you can get people off their game, something different to help you do better against your competition. But when you're starting fast, you got to be prepared for the second mile, which is going to be your most tiring. Because when you're doing the third mile, you're prepared to finish your race.
Right.
So the second mile is really the biggest obstacle. It was my obstacle yesterday too. But when you're coming down from any type of race, you want to just be prepared to run and prepared to be like, there's a person in front of me, I need to catch that person, or at least try your best to.
Sure. And there's not too many people that are ever really in front of you, because you normally typically finish in the top 5. You were 4th yesterday at Pinecrest. Tell everybody the secret. What's the key to your success of only being a sophomore and being not only the fastest runner at Richmond on the Lady Raiders, but also to be in that top 5 mix every meet?
Well, the secret has to be you want it to win. You want to, hey, this person's in front of me. Let's go get them. Or at least in that last stretch, you got to think, hey, I got to be faster than these people, because even if I was maybe slacking in that mile, I got to be, this is my best mile. This is where I good, because when they ran that entire race at, let's say they ran it at their 85% speed, even if you're fast, you're going to run it at 85% speed. But that's as fast as they're going to get. And you have to know that, hey, I can get faster than that.
And you seem very knowledgeable, and a lot of people might not think too that you take into consideration what the other runners are thinking, what the other runners are doing. So I wish you luck the rest of the way, and certainly to do well at Conference Championship on the 21st at Pinecrest. So now, let's transition now kind of into Ariel the student, Ariel the teenager. You are a sophomore, and you're our first actually student athlete who attends the early college. So just kind of tell folks what the early college is, some of the classes you're enrolled in, your experiences out there.
Well, basically the early college program is a program where you enter in your 9th grade year, and through the 4 years of your high school career, you also get an associate's degree. But with that, you have to, for your first 2 years, you're basically taking all of the high school classes you would have taken over your high school time, and then you're going to take some college classes that are going to account for your high school and your college credits. So it's going to transfer better to, like, a lot of schools in North Carolina. Like, they've got, it's easily transferable to, like, Pembroke and State, Fayetteville State. A lot of schools like that it's going to be easily transferable into. But you're going to graduate with an associate's in arts and associate's in science. There's also programs where you can graduate from, like, the substation relay program. You can graduate, starting salary is about $60,000 a year. It's pretty good programs to help you prepare for your future, especially with the adult settings.
Yeah, and it's a great jump start. You are getting leaps and bounds ahead of other students coming out of high school. So what's your GPA right now?
About like a 4.4, mostly because I'm taking college classes, so
Yeah,
that just brings it way up.
And that's awesome, because I'll tell you, my high school GPA was not a 4.4, but I think I turned out okay.
It's because as a sophomore and a freshman, college classes count as AP.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, that makes sense. So let's transition then. You are a year-round athlete, and we talked the other day. And so not only do you run cross country in the fall, but what do you do in the winter, and what do you do in the spring?
Well, in winter, I run indoor track. I run the 1,000 meter. I run the mile. I run the 2 mile, and I run a 4x8, which is basically a 800 relay. Every girl runs an 800. It's pretty cool. Sometimes I run the 4x4, but I didn't really run that much last winter.
What's your role on the relays?
Well, sometimes I'm first leg, sometimes I'm last. It's just depending on the type of relay, how we want to start, how other people are also running their relays. Like if we know that some people are putting their their fastest legs first, then that's going to tell us we might want to put our fastest leg first.
Right.
In order to get out and then have everybody else be able to, catch up.
Yep, sure. So what's different between cross country and track? I mean, obviously track is, much shorter, a little bit more speed is required, but how do you kind of make that transition or make that adjustment from season to season?
Well, the difference mainly to me is in track, you're going to have a break here. You're going to have a break there. It's, you got a lot more break. It's a lot more time to breathe. Even if you're only getting like 20 minutes recovery, that's still better than cross country because you don't stop.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the extracurriculars. I know that you're involved in a setup much like Live at 5 over at the Early College. So tell folks about the Reach News team.
Well, the Reach News team is run by a senior attending our college. Her name is Skylar. Basically, what she does is she does everything. She sets it up. She has a tripod. We just film. Most of the time, we're not filming in like a studio like this. We film around the campus to give you a good look of it.
Sure.
We film on the breezeways and some really pretty scenery behind DeWitt. Anything like that's gonna give us a nice backdrop and also be kind of quiet so we don't have cars.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And what's your role on the news team? What do you present normally?
I'm a sports anchor because sports.
Yeah, I mean you're a very sports-oriented young lady, and certainly. So if you're ever around campus at RCC or where can they find your program?
It's on YouTube. You can search the Reach News team.
Okay.
The Instagram page, Reach News team. Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah,
The link.
so check it out, folks. You can see Ariel, much like she is now. You can see her with the Reach News team at RCC. Talk up to. I know that you're very busy, but you do find time to volunteer. And you talked to me the other day about the Backpack Pals. Do you kind of explain what that program is and your involvement there?
Well, basically, the news team does a lot of stuff with them. It's basically where you give backpacks to children. Helping out. There's a lot of things that our school actually offers to help you volunteer as a student.
Mm-hmm.
You can get volunteer hours in many ways. We have trash pickups a lot. I think 2 Saturdays back I wasn't able to go because we had like a cross country meet, but we did have a trash pickup.
Sure. And the Backpack Pals is an initiative to give students nutritional meals over the weekend that may not have them at home. So thank you so much for doing that and helping out with that program. What are some of your hobbies? You sound busy, but deep down I think you're just a regular teenage girl. So there's got to be some things you do when you're not training.
I like music. I like food. Things that every teenager likes.
Mm-hmm.
I like shopping a lot, even though I'm kind of cheap, so I kind of just look at things and then decide, hey, maybe I'll buy that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll pick something up off the rack. I'll say, I'm going to buy this, and I tell my wife I'm going to buy it, and then I end up putting it back on the rack because I, too, don't like to spend money. You like to read, too.
Oh, I do like to read. I read a lot of sci-fi fiction.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite series?
I'm Number 4 by Pittacus Lore.
Yeah, so check that out. I was doing a little research last night, and I'm an English teacher, and that's definitely a great series. Let's talk too then about your collegiate aspirations. I mean, you're only a sophomore, but you're already taking college courses, and I'm sure you have aspirations to go somewhere. So just kind of tell folks at home where you want to go to school. Are you thinking about running cross country or track at the college level?
Well, I'm thinking about running cross country at a college level. I hope I can. College Scouts, if you're watching this, I'm Ariel, but. There's a lot of schools that are easily transferable, and some of them aren't, and that's one of the biggest obstacles you have to think about as you're taking your college classes, that, hey, this might not transfer onto a four-year college. Mm-hmm. And also, like, when you're taking these classes, you have to actually understand how you should transfer as a transfer student or as a first-year student, mm-hmm. because sometimes it makes it difficult. But you always have to know that, hey, this is what I want to do. But I've been looking at a couple of colleges that are pretty nice colleges that are in state, like NC State, Fayetteville State, things like that. They're easy to transfer because they have a link on a RCC website.
That's cool.
For easily transferable schools.
And what are you looking to study? And I know it's a couple years off, but I know the other day when we spoke for our print article, you had expressed kind of 2 areas of interest.
Yeah, I'm a little interested in psychology. I would want to look into that. There's a lot of jobs. It's also a growing market as mm-hmm. people are looking more into it. And then also doing this, newscasting. I like talking a lot. So.
Well, you're very natural, and I think you should come in and you should host Live at 5 more often. We'd certainly be glad to have you. But that's very cool that you're already thinking about post-secondary education, and I do hope that there are college scouts out there listening. So the last thing I want to talk about real quick before we let you go is, on the official Richmond County Athlete of the Week segment, we like to talk about mentors because you as a young adult, there's certainly people in your life that have guided you, led you to be the exceptional young lady that you are today. So tell folks at home who you picked as your mentor and why he is your mentor.
Well, I picked my dad as my mentor. He is also a runner. He ran for a long time. We ran together. We ran a 5K together. He beat me, but it's okay. And he's been a real great mentor. He's smart. He's like done a lot of stuff in my life to like influence the decisions that I make as a person. And as having someone like my dad as a father and a parent is nice, sometimes frustrating, but you always learn something at the end of the day, and that's always good.
Yeah, and it's healthy to have that relationship between, you know, good times, and I'm sure he pushes you, and certainly he does help out with the cross country team. He is an assistant coach, so it's very cool that you look up to him that way, and I hope that he continues to push you in your future. So folks, this is Ariel Brown, the #1 runner for the Lady Raiders cross country team. Ariel, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, and I wish you all the luck in the future. And when we come back from these messages from our sponsors, our male student athlete of the week will be in studio, so stick around to find out who he is, only here at Live at 5.
At Richmond Community College, we can prepare you for a high-skill, high-paying career in a variety of fields. From business to education, engineering, utilities, healthcare, criminal justice, information technology, and human services. At Richmond Community College, we can save you thousands of dollars on tuition through our university transfer programs that provide a seamless transition to universities and colleges throughout North Carolina. At Richmond Community College, we are always developing new courses and programs in response to the communities we serve. We offer day, evening, and online courses, and you can now complete 5 curriculum programs entirely online. At Richmond Community College, we believe in helping you prepare for a better life. Richmond Community College. Local college, big impact.
Hi, I'm Erin McNair, and on behalf of the entire McNair family, we'd like to invite you to the grand opening of the new McNair Auto Sales location, Saturday, September 30th from 11 to 2. At our new location, 1026 East Broad Avenue, we look forward to serve you with greater selection, better facility, with the same reliable and friendly staff you have grown to know and trust. With over 40 years of experience, you know when it comes to buying your van, truck, or car, McNair is the name you can trust.
Papa, Phil, Carrie, Ryan, Trey, Kristen, and the whole McNair family look forward to seeing you as we celebrate the grand opening of our new location, Saturday, September 30th from 11 to 2. We'll see you there.
Thanks for tuning in to the official Richmond County Athlete of the Week segment presented by the Richmond Observer. Joining us just before the break was Ariel Brown of the Lady Raiders cross country team, and in studio now is a young man who also participates in the same sport. As a senior, our nominee serves as a top runner each week and is enrolled in Richmond's dual enrollment program where he takes both high school and college classes. His best finish of the season came not too long ago as he finished 7th overall at Lumberton, and on Saturday he finished 4th on the team at the Smithfield Selma Invitational. And here's a gentleman that I've been describing, Dylan Richardson. Dylan, we're so glad to have you in studio tonight.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your cross-country season. Kind of in the prelude there, I talked about how you've consistently been a leader. You're a solid 5 or 6 runner on the team, which is just as important. It is a team sport. You're also a captain on this year's team. So just kind of tell the folks at home how your meet was at Pinecrest yesterday and how your season's been so far.
It was all right yesterday. We didn't place as high as we expected to, but we got 3rd overall, and I did all right when we ran there.
Okay. So talk about the challenges. When Ariel was on earlier, she talked about the hills. How were the hills yesterday at Pinecrest?
The hills were I feel like it may have been a little easier for the girls' run because when we ran, it was pouring down rain.
Oh, yeah.
So it was
sure.
like everything we ran on either sunk
Right,
or you slid
right,
on everything.
sure.
And it got worse because it rained the whole run.
Mhm.
So my shoes got waterlogged and
No doubt.
it got harder and harder to run.
Yeah, so you guys said that you didn't do as well as you wanted to, but third place is still good. And you guys are preparing now for the conference championship, which will take place back at Pinecrest on the 21st of October.
Yes.
So, which is a Saturday, folks. So Saturday, 10 a.m. On the 21st. If you're interested in supporting the Raiders, certainly head on out to Pinecrest. And which golf course do they run on?
I'm not sure which golf course it was.
We'll find that out for you, and we'll put it on our website. But at any rate, just kind of talk about how you're preparing for conference championships. Talk about what you guys are doing in practice.
For the most part, I'm just showing up to practice, doing what I can, doing what I'm asked. In practice, like we usually divide it up each week. We'll either do some speed work earlier in the week and then move over to distance, or vice versa.
Okay. And so, when you're talking about distance, how far are you generally running in practice?
Roughly, well, for the most, around 5 miles.
Per day. So.
And because I know tomorrow we have practice, and he wants to try to get us to run about 8.
Okay. In preparation, and I taught cross country at Ellerby Middle School the last 2 years, and that's certainly something that you've got to do, right, to build that endurance. And not only is it a physical endurance, it's a mental endurance.
It's mental, yeah.
Yeah. So when, because I always say, to my runners that it's more of a mental endurance. So what do you do when you're running that 3.1 miles? What are you thinking about? What keeps you going through the race?
For the well, if it's hot, I try to run faster because I hate being out in the heat.
Sure. And I'm sure it was really humid yesterday too.
Yeah, and most of the time when I like running around 60 degrees or below.
Yeah. Well, I don't
just feel better.
You don't see a whole lot of 60-degree here.
We don't. It sucks.
Yeah. So what do you find to be most challenging, with running cross country, and then on the flip side of that, what is most rewarding for you to be on the team?
I think the most challenging part about it is the courses that have really steep hills, or any course when it's raining.
Right.
Because it's just harder to run in the rain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because of your shoes, especially when they get full of water.
Yeah. I'm sure that slows you down a little bit.
Yeah, at least it feels like it does.
Yeah. And what about the most rewarding? What do you enjoy?
I think the most rewarding would be like going to the regionals and everything as a team, and like achieving first place in any of the meets.
Sure.
Is nice.
Yeah, and you guys have regionals following the championship, correct?
Yes, it's the week after.
Okay, so
the following week.
Yeah, and the Richmond Observer will keep you updated with the results as they come in from the Sand Hills Athletic Conference Championship, and we'll obviously have an article that previews the regional runners as they make their way to regionals this year. So Dylan, kind of talk about, let's transition then from cross country to school. So I said earlier, that you are in the dual enrollment program at Richmond.
Yes.
So just kind of explain what that means and what classes you're taking right now.
Well, in the dual enrollment, I have history, English, and math. And what it is we can take college classes while we're in high school.
Okay.
So basically, for our freshman year, we can kind of get most of the stuff done that we need done in our freshman year of college. So say next semester, I should be finishing up math, history, and English. So my freshman year in college, when it transfers, I shouldn't have to take that starting off. I can go right into my career choice.
Right. So you go right into your major courses, which is really cool. And Ariel was on earlier, and she goes to early college, and so they're kind of they're synonymous in the same way that you're getting that head start as far as getting some of your courses knocked out. So what's your favorite class?
My favorite class is probably history because I like the teacher, and I've always liked history. It's not really challenging for me, and I like to learn about history.
Sure. Yeah. Those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard it.
Yeah, definitely. History is an important part of a person's education. Other Richmond sports that you play, I know currently cross country is your only sport, but I do know that you did participate in other sports early on. So what were they?
I participated in track my freshman year and my 10th grade year.
Okay. And what events did you run there?
I usually ran the 1 mile and 2 mile.
Okay.
I did
so
the
still
distance
doing
part of
yeah,
track.
still doing
Yeah.
the distance part of track. Yeah.
I didn't like sprinting at all.
Okay. And what's the difference between the sprints and I mean, I'm sure there's a lot physically.
I
But
feel like for the sprints, like your speed endurance has to be way higher than
Mhm.
your distance. Like
Right.
because when you run a distance, you can kind of set a pace.
Right.
But when you have like a short distance to run, it's almost a full out sprint. And if you don't have decent form and
Right.
really good like
Off the
short
blocks,
distance
right,
stamina,
mhm.
it's not going to work out too
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely. So talk about some of the other things that you're involved with at school. I know that you volunteer a lot. So what are some of the organizations at Richmond you're involved in? What kind of volunteering do you do?
Volunteering, I did one at the community college here. Taught a class for a week on 3D printing
yeah.
and some computer software stuff.
Okay. So talk about, who were you teaching it? Were you teaching it to adults? Were you teaching it
I was
to
teaching it
kids?
to younger kids, like some were elementary and some were like freshmen in middle school.
Okay.
Uh,
And what kind of, I personally don't know a whole lot about 3D printing. So what were you teaching them or what were you
well,
showing
what you do
them?
is there's different softwares you can use, but we used 3ds Max. So what you do is whatever you can think of really, you can make it in there. It's like it's a software. So say you wanted to make something like a cup,
Mhm.
you start off with like a cylinder, you stretch it out and do all the modifications to it.
Okay.
And once you teach them all how to do this, you take it, you convert it to another program like for 3ds printing.
Sure.
It shows you like how it's going to look,
Mhm.
and as long as it's stable, you have it hooked up to a 3D printer, and it'll print it out for you just like this.
Oh, okay. So is it paper? that it
It's
prints it out?
the one we use were plastic, but they
Oh,
have
okay.
all different kinds. Like they have steel
Oh, wow.
and other stuff too, like
Very
that they
cool.
manufacture parts with.
That's awesome. And so what do you think about teaching?
It wasn't bad. It's just it's hard to keep people to sit still
Yeah,
when.
well, welcome to my world, right? So welcome to the middle school arena of teaching. But that's pretty cool that you did that. And where else are you volunteering to?
I also volunteered at the animal shelter with a friend.
Mhm.
We went there a couple times over the summer.
And what were some of the things that you did there?
We just helped out, like gave certain animals baths, did what they asked, like anything they needed cleaned up and stuff like that. We just went out for a couple hours
Yeah, and
each, every like maybe once or twice a week
okay.
for a month or so during
Gotcha.
the summer.
Yeah, and there's a lot of our student athletes that come through here that do go to the Humane Society or do go to the animal shelter. So I'm sure they definitely appreciate
They always
it.
have a spot for anyone that wants to
Yeah,
volunteer, so it's a lot.
absolutely.
It's
Mhm.
easy to find something to help out with.
And another thing too, you've been nominated for NHS at
Yes,
the
I
high
just
school.
recently got nominated
Yeah,
for
so
that.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
National Honor Society, definitely a cool club, a notable club to be a part of. I can tell by your shirt from our conversation the other day that you're into heavy metal
Yeah.
and metal bands, and so one of your hobbies, so to speak, was attending concerts. So just kind of tell the folks at home, what, and I kind of might have spoiled it for you a little bit, but what are some of the things that you like to do outside of school when you're not running and doing classwork?
I mean, I enjoy like going to concerts, hanging out with friends, going outside. Like during the summer, I like to go swimming and stuff.
Sure.
And in the winter, well, this year I'd like to go up to the mountain sometime to go snowboarding and whatnot.
Have you ever snowboarded before?
I have before, but it's been a really long time.
Yeah, I actually was a ski and snowboard instructor in high school and college in Pennsylvania. So maybe it's not too hard. It's like riding a bike.
Well, I mean, I used to skateboard a lot, so
Okay,
it
there's a
shouldn't
lot
be.
of parallels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels. there.
Because it's been a while. Like it was middle school around the last time.
Yeah, and we don't get a lot of snow here, so
Yeah, there's nowhere to do it here either.
yeah,
So unless you
anything
go up
that-
to the mountains or
sure,
something.
absolutely. So what about the concerts do you like? And I know that your favorite band is Slipknot, but what about the concerts make it so enjoyable that you want to go back and kind of make it a hobby?
I mean, you're around a lot of people that have common interests with you.
Mhm.
I mean, seeing people live that is completely different. It's just like a completely different experience than hearing them through the radio.
Right.
I mean, you're with a bunch of people that have the same interests as you. It's just, I mean, I don't really know how to describe it besides the fact that
So
it's
it's
just
more
fun.
of just being there. It's
Yeah,
kind of in the
it's
moment.
like being there for the experience.
Okay, awesome. Let's transition then into school aspirations. I mean, this is you're a senior. I'm sure that you've heard about applying for colleges, or you probably have
Yes.
applied for colleges. That season is upon you. So just kind of talk about some of the course, the career paths that you'd like to pursue, possible majors and possible schools that you'd like to attend?
I'm thinking about either going to UNC Charlotte
Okay.
or Western Carolina, because they both have the fields I want to go into, which
Okay.
is like computer engineering or mechatronics.
Okay. And mechatronics ties back into things like 3D printing, right?
It's like 3D printing, mechanical engineering, computer engineering. It's all like kind of tied together.
Sure.
So there's like different segments of like each one that kind of
Okay.
tie together.
Okay. And so what's appealing about Western Carolina, or what's appealing about UNC Charlotte?
I visited UNC Charlotte. I like their campus. It's
Mhm.
nice. I like how close things are to you.
Yeah.
And like they just recently are adding something that can like take you straight to downtown Charlotte and
Yeah,
straight
I
back.
have heard that. That is pretty
So that
neat.
would be nice, and I wouldn't have to either like. Well, I don't think I'd drive because it's not too far, but
Mhm.
like
Still,
I could
it's-
take something
right,
like
yeah.
that just to get down there and come
Mhm.
right back.
And what about cross country? Are you thinking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it in college.
Okay, so you're thinking about walking on, seeing it try
Yeah.
out. Okay. I wish you the best of luck in that. And,
Thank you.
and I hope. I mean, like we talked about the other day, it's one of those sports that there are scholarships out there, and there are spots to be filled. So I hope you do well in whatever you decide to pursue. One last thing before we head off. We talked on Monday and our sit down mentors, right? And you thought for a minute and you couldn't just come up with one. So I think there are actually 4 people that you mentioned. So just kind of tell the folks at home who your mentors are and why you look up to them as a young man.
My mentors are like, well, Jeff Epps and Chad Osborne. They're the ones that like got me interested in all the computer engineering and all of
and
that.
Where did you meet them?
I met them through my mom
Okay.
because she worked with Chad and she knew Mr. Epps.
Right.
He
And
worked
Mr.
for
Epps
the
is at
school.
RCC now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like she asked me if I was interested in doing stuff like that, and I
Mhm.
said I'd try it. And then
Sure.
like ever since then, I've enjoyed it, and I've known them since I was either starting middle school, I think. 'Cause
Okay.
I've known
So
them for a
they've
good
really
while.
helped- yeah. So they've
They've
really
had an
helped.
impact on like my career choice and
Okay,
stuff like
so
that.
in the computers and the sciences. Okay. So Chad Osborne, Jeff Epps, excuse me,
My parents and
Coach Miller.
Coach Miller.
Yeah. So what about your? I mean, obviously, your parents are your parents, but what about your parents? What makes them your mentor?
Well, they've helped me like with problems like throughout my life, and another thing is like they influence me to go to school, and like I know if I don't now, like since they've showed me like how like jobs and stuff are now, you
absolutely.
really need an education to get
Yeah.
a decent job.
Mhm.
So I don't want to be stuck working at like some place not making.
Yeah, no, I get that, and you're definitely a smart guy. You're carrying, according to my notes, a 4.28 GPA, which is and we talked about this earlier with Ariel. That's very commendable. I mean, to have some, and I made the joke that that's not. I wasn't even close to a 4.28 in high school, and I think I turned out okay. And so talk about Coach Miller then too, as you're obviously for obvious reasons. I think that he's a mentor.
He's helped
to
me
you.
a lot, especially for running and
Mhm.
everything. It's nice to like have someone that works with you
Mhm.
to make sure you get better, rather than have someone that just gets mad when you do bad
Mhm.
and then tries to blame it like for you not coming to practice or something.
Yeah.
It's nice, like he tries to work with you, like especially if you have a job.
Right.
If you can't make it, and he understands that.
Okay.
He'll just he'll either ask you to do something on the weekend or something like that, just to keep yourself going.
And the cool thing about Coach Miller, and I don't know if I told you this, but he calls you the silent assassin. He says that you come to practice every day, no questions asked. You do what you're told. You show your leadership through your work ethic. You show your leadership to the other teammates, and you're just very quiet, very humble, and I think that's very, very cool. So, folks, this is Dylan Richardson. He is our our official Richmond County Male Athlete of the Week. Dylan, I hope you have a good rest of your season, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
We've got a lot more news headed your way after the break, so stay tuned here on Live at 5.
I'm Kelly. I worked at Champion 4 for 2 years.
6 years.
3 years.
1 year.
I've been at Champion Fort for 13 years.
1 whole year.
15 years.
I'm Jamie and I've been at Champion Ford for 12 years.
I've been here 8 years.
Champion prices, champion service, champion experience.
Get treated like a champion today at Champion Ford. Just down the road from High Prices, championfordlincoln.com.
We are Champion Ford.
Welcome back to Live at 5. We have Stephanie Thornsberry for the Hamlet Depot Ghost Tours. So what do you have all to explain for this event?
The Ghost Tour will take place on October 20th and 21st. That's a Friday and Saturday night before the Seaboard Festival. The tours are an hour long each, and they run at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock p.m. The Village Paranormal Research Society is the paranormal team that's doing the investigation, and they'll lead 2 tour groups throughout the depot and the Tornado Building. And what they will do is they'll utilize their equipment. They have some ion testers, some thermometers, a couple of voice sensors.
Pretty much the stuff you would see like on the
Right,
paranormal shows.
On the paranormal activity shows.
Those
correct.
are always fun.
and the groups will get to utilize the equipment. They're also encouraged to download some of the free apps on their phones for paranormal research, and we'd love for them to take pictures, and if they catch any cool pictures at all, to please share them with me so that I can post them as well.
Okay. Is there any way that anyone can contact you about attending the event or more information on that?
Yep. If anybody has any questions, they can come by the Visitor Center in Hamlet, or they can call 910-582-0603. The tickets can be purchased through ticketleap.com online. They can just go on TicketLeap and search for Hamlet Depot Ghost Tour, or they can go to the event page on Facebook and there's a link there.
Right. And I understand you did this last year as well. How did it go last year, and how do you expect it to go this year?
We did. It went really, really well last year. We had some Maglite flashlights that were placed on the floors, and you could ask questions and the lights would turn off and on, which was really neat. We caught some different voice phenomenon, including what sounded like a little girl in the upstairs bathroom saying, "Can you help me?"
Oh, that's always terrifying.
Right? we caught what sounded like a man and woman fighting in the Tornado Building. It was some very neat stuff, and it was very successful, and people loved it, and I'm hoping that it will be even better this year.
The last year, did you have a team there too as well?
We did. We had a team out of Raleigh that came in, and they hosted the event. It was one night last year, and we expanded it to 2 nights this year.
Honestly, I'm excited for it because I love anything paranormal, horror movies, anything.
Yep.
That's my jazz. October, that's my month.
Same here. I love it.
So do you want to go ahead and say that all that contact information I have to attend one more time before we
if you have any questions or would like some information, you can come to the Visitor Center in Hamlet, which is right beside of the depot, or call 910-582-0603 and you ask for me. And if you'd like to purchase a ticket, you can go to ticketleap.com and just search Hamlet Depot Ghost Tour, or go to the Facebook event for the Ghost Tour, and the link is provided there.
I know, I'm excited. I hope everyone else is excited too. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited for the event. We're so excited to help sponsor this event onwards so people can attend. Because I know Richmond Observer is excited.
Good, I'm glad.
Thank you again for coming, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Family Pharmacy has been serving Richmond County since April 2007, and we have enjoyed getting to know our customers since then. We take our jobs very seriously, and will do whatever we can to make sure you have what you need. Come visit us on Fayetteville Road in Rockingham, and we will treat you like family.
Welcome back to Live at 5, and now for tonight's top sports stories. The Lady Raiders volleyball team continues to make history by completing their 21st consecutive win. On Tuesday night, the Lady Raiders took another step closer to completing their unprecedented run at history when they defeated SAC opponent 71st High School 3-0 by the scores of 25-13, 25-12, and 25-8. Richmond tallied 27 team kills on the night, while also digging the ball 29 times. Head coach Shelley Wimpy noted that there were limited opportunities to pick big numbers on the board because of so many errors committed by the Lady Falcons.
Altman Griffin drilled home a match-high 13 kills while picking up 4 digs, 1 ace, and 1 block. Owen Bowers followed up with 6 kills, 2 digs, 1 ace, and 1 block. Defensively, junior outside hitter Savannah Lampley led the way with 13 digs while also serving 3 aces and knocking down 1 kill. Sophomore defense specialist Lane Maltsby, whose role is often overlooked because of the Lady Raiders' explosive offense, worked well out of the back row and collected 6 digs.
As there is just one match standing between Richmond and the first undefeated season in the school's history, the Lady Raiders are prepared to face rival Scotland County at home Thursday, which is also senior night. Richmond will honor 6 seniors: Brianna Basic, Bowers, Griffin, Amaya Pemberton, Mackenzie Webb, and Lainey Wright.
In junior varsity play, head coach Ashley Larson's team also won straight sets of 25-12 and 25-20. This marks the JV team's 18th victory on the season as it continues to prove to be equally as strong in depth as the varsity team. Freshman outside hitter Taylor Chappell had a career-high 7 aces and also helped out defensively with 7 digs. Sophomore outside hitter Madison Jordan tallied 3 aces and 6 digs. On Thursday, junior varsity will tip things off at 5 p.m., followed by varsity at 6 p.m.
The Lady Raiders tennis team ends their record at 9-5 overall and 9-4 in the Sandhills Athletic Conference, placing 3rd in the process. The team headed to Pinecrest High School on Monday and Tuesday for the conference tournament. Fellow seniors Destiny Bowie and Kathleen Pittman, along with juniors Grayson Way and Jayana Nicholson, placed 5th and 4th respectively, and will start preparing themselves for the next round.
With the new conference alignment that took place before the school year started, the Lady Raiders will now play in the Mid-East region as opposed to the East. Richmond will have to wait another week before traveling north to Cary. Head coach Mike Way said that the new regional is stronger than the conference Richmond is in, which is a feat considering Pinecrest was featured in both the doubles championship and the singles championship on Tuesday. Now we'll go to Kelsey Rushing, our head weather broadcaster, for this week's forecast.
Thank you, Sierra. Today's weather report is brought to you by Harrington Funeral Home. Thursday we'll have a high 84 degrees with showers early on, then scattered thunderstorms developing later in the day. That evening we'll have a low 67 degrees with showers early and then cloudy skies overnight. Friday we'll have a high of 79 degrees with cloudy skies and a slight chance for rain shower, and that evening we'll have a low 65 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. Saturday we'll have a high 83 degrees with a chance of several possible showers in the morning, which will turn to a cloudy afternoon. And that evening we'll have a low 62 degrees with partly cloudy skies. I'm Kelsey Rushing, and thank you for joining me for your weather report. Back to you, Haley.
Remember to come out for our grand opening event tomorrow, October 12th at 4:30 at our office and studio located at 505 Rockingham Road in Rockingham.
We look forward to meeting you all and can't wait to share our big announcements.
I'm really excited about it.
I am too.
We get to meet everybody in person.
That's right.
And maybe sit behind the desk with some people.
Oh, take pictures?
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe some selfies.
Good night, Richmond County.
Good night.